Good afternoon, everybody. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I know the men of the cameramen really want to have their time, but would really appreciate you. Let's get the event on the road. Thank you very much. Men of the press, I'm reaching out to you. I recognize your presence in this hall this afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I know the men of the press are really having a swell time trying to get a clear shot. But I think if you don't vacate that area now, we can't really get the program on the road proper. So I would really want the men of the press to settle in as we get the event on the road. We did promise you that at 12 o'clock we'll be starting just a few minutes after 12 o'clock. Thank you very much for coming. I recognize everybody coming this afternoon. Welcome to the second gubernatorial debate 2015 Oyo State Gubernatorial Debate from the stables of Splash FM. And on behalf of my lovely chairman, Chief Bayo Okunade, I welcome everybody. The students in the hall, I welcome you proper. Our guests that came in on invitation, I also welcome you. Professors in the house, I welcome you. And in the house as well, welcome you. Once again, I welcome you to the second Splash FM Oyo State Gubernatorial Debate 2015. This happens to be a day that we took a lot of time to plan for this, and yes, the 3rd is finally here. The 3rd of February, we've been picking this date, we've been talking about it, you've been hearing, and yes, it's here. A lot of people thought, okay, it will not happen, the candidate will not be here, but I'd really want to say, yes, it finally came. Let me properly introduce myself. My name is Jacob Zadeyemi, one of the presenters, Splash FM. Good afternoon. Technical. Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, professors, students, and our distinguished guests. We welcome you to this event. I would like to recognize some people in the hall this afternoon. First, let me start with my able chairman, Chief Bayo Okunade, MFR. I welcome you, sir. And also our lovely mommy there, Chief Mrs. Okunade, we welcome you as well. Good afternoon, welcome. I'm not leaving out the men of the Nigerian police and the Nigerian army that are ably represented in this hall this afternoon. Also, yes, while we are here, let me recognize the people on the big table here. I call it the big table, though they are not on stage, but they are the people that will be doing more of the work off the mic. Let me recognize Professor Egbokhare. You've been hearing about him. Prof, good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Let's put our hands together for Prof. That's Professor Egbokhare. Professor, show them, let them see you. That's Professor Egbokhare. Also, Professor Bayo Okunade is also a wonderful man. Okay, that's him. Put your hands together for Professor. It's wonderful. And a woman I met just this morning talking about Mrs. Robinson. Let's see you, ma'am. Wonderful. That's a beautiful woman. That's Professor Robinson there. I'm not leaving out Edem Osai. Edem, let the people see you. Thank you very much. That's the famous Edem Osai there. And then our own Lambert. Lambert, let the people see you. That's Lambert Ojeh. Put your hands together for him. We're not wasting much time. The reason you're here, we would want to meet the candidates that are ably represented here, and I'm just going to call them on stage. All protocols observed. Now, representing in no order at all, I would want to introduce to the stage here, representing the APC, talking about Senator Abiola Ajimobi. Let's put our hands together for him as he comes on stage. That's the governor of Oyo State. Let's put our hands together for him. He's coming on stage, Senator Abiola Ajimobi. Keep clapping for him as he comes on stage. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Senator Abiola Ajimobi for you. Edmond, before I see that, okay, Please welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. That's Senator Abiola Ajimobi representing the APC for today's event. Also, ably represented here, representing the SDP, that's the Social Democratic Party, Engineer Seyi Makinde. Let's put our hands together for the engineer. That's the man, I'm sure you've been seeing him around. Just keep clapping for him as he comes on stage. That is Engineer Seyi Makinde for you. Welcome, sir. Let's put our hands together again for him as he takes his seat. Representing the Social Democratic Party. Now let's move to the People's Democratic Party. By his cap, you recognize him. Senator Teslim Folarin, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, sir. Keep clapping for him as he comes on stage. Keep clapping for him. Okay. Senator Teslim Folarin there. Thank you very much. Keep clapping for him as he gets his seat. Now exchanging the handshake. Edmond is just whispering at me that the next name I was about calling, the person that was supposed to represent the Accord Party, actually, that is, representing the Labour Party, Chief Dr. Christopher Alao Akala. He just sent a message to Edmond that he's so sorry he won't be able to make it here this afternoon. So sorry, the representative of the Labour Party will not be making it. I was about calling him on stage, but he just did not make it. I'll just move on to the next party. We all know him. I call him Baba. Representing the Accord Party, Senator Rasheed Ladoja. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Rasheed Ladoja, representing the Accord Party. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome, sir. Once again, I would want to apologize. The man that was supposed to occupy that seat, that's the candidate for the Labour Party, Dr. Christopher Akala, just sent in his message that he will not be making it for these events. At this moment, I'd like to hand the mic over. Okay, before handing over to the panel now, I'm sure our men at the technical are set for us before we swing into the action of the event of the day. I would like us to be on our feet as we take the national anthem and, of course, the Ibadan anthem. I'm sure the men at the technical department are set for that. Thank you very much. We'll be taking the national anthem, and then we will also take the Ibadan anthem now. Thank you very much. We may all be seated. At this moment, I would like to hand over to Professor Egbokhare and his team.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the great people of Oyo State. Before we start, we would like to read the ground rules. All 5 parties were invited, and so we have 4 parties represented and 1 is absent. We shall be breaching protocol by not addressing people by their official compliments. This is to create a level playing field for everyone. There shall be no applause or hailing of the debaters during the debate. No heckling, no whistling, no cat calls. The members of the audience can only applaud during the introduction of the candidates and at the end of the debate. Each of the speakers will introduce themselves and their policies for 4 minutes. Subsequently, each debater shall speak for only 3 minutes to make their points on issues raised. The debate is expected to last for 3 hours, and so we appeal to the contestants to try as much as possible to keep to the time allotted them. At the end, the debaters will be given 3 minutes each to ask one another questions, if they do have any. That means this is optional. It's important to note that this is an issues-based debate. And our colleagues here with us on the panel are going to be addressing each question, 2 questions each, to each of the candidates. So having said that, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we would like to kick off the debate by asking Professor Bayo Okunade to reel out the first 2 questions. Thank you.
My name is Bayo Okunade from the University of Ibadan.
Just a little bit of an adjustment here. I think it's proper for us to ask each of the candidates to give us, to introduce themselves, first of all, and their vision for just 4 minutes. So we are going to start this off from the candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Engineer Seyi Makinde. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My names are Seyi Abiola Makinde. I'm an engineer by profession and now a politician. The policy of SDP and the government that will be headed by Seyi Makinde in Oyo State will focus mainly on Operation HIPS. We'll talk about health care, education, agriculture, physical infrastructure, and security. The major challenge of our time in Oyo State as of today are the twin issues of poverty and corruption. Poverty, a grinding one. If we look at our population, a higher percentage of it consists of the youth, at least about 55–60%. And when they are faced with high level of poverty with no means of escaping the cycle, they discount the future. Discounting the future means they will readily engage in status-elevating ventures, which will breed crime, violence, and other vices within our environment. This we have to tackle by providing employment for these young lads. And how do we provide employment? We know quite well that Oyo State economy is agrarian. You have means by which we can get money. Presently, the only means that have been explored is just from the Federation account. And from the Federation account, you have about maybe 5 billion as the allocation monthly. And we generate also roughly 2 billion internally. Then we pay the workers. Workers' wages is close to 70% of that, almost 4.9 billion naira, with only 30% available for capital projects. When you take this, you take 30% that you need to use to generate capital project, and you now want to create employment, and you create employment that will also take away from that 30%. An SDP government in Oyo State will definitely move away from that route. We will create employment based on the comparative advantage that Oyo State has. The comparative advantage for us is our land resource. So, by means of employment generation, we will focus on that. And this is something that I have done before in my private capacity. Yeah, that's something I've done before in my private capacity. We went to my village in Ajia. We put in electricity in there, and we found out that the artisans, welders came in, the price of land in that locality went up. Even the youth, they don't have any need to come to the city for anything. They charge them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think we're done with the time, if you don't mind.
4 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Engineer Seyi Makinde of the Social Democratic Party. Again, let me remind us that we have 4 minutes to introduce ourselves and our vision for your state. Senator Teslim Folarin of the People's Democratic Party, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. My name is Teslim Folarin. I am 51 years old. I consider myself as a true Nigerian. Had my secondary education in Lagos. I'm a proud alumni of this great university. And like many kids of those days, I did my NYC in Kaduna. And like many kids of those days, I also took the opportunity to travel abroad, where I spent 12 good years in the British Civil Service. And that gave me the opportunity to see how things are run compared to Nigeria. And after 12 years, 13 years, what I took away from my sojourn there is how strong their institutions are. And with very strong institutions, you can make things work. So I came home, became a senator, was in the Senate for 8 years, last 4 years as the leader of the Senate. In the last 4 years, I have not been active in terms of holding any political office. And that has afforded me the opportunity to travel the length and breadth of this state, to talk to people from Oyo, Ogbomosho, Ibarapa, talk about issues what are the challenges facing them? And we came to the conclusion, my team and I came to the conclusion that our manifesto is based on one single agenda: people, 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 people. Having said that, there are strands. When I say people, the people we've spoken to are concerned about agriculture, they're concerned about health, they're concerned about education, quite rightly, they're concerned about accommodation, they're concerned about infrastructural development, and of course, they're very concerned about the issue of youth unemployment, which is a major, major challenge to this country and Oyo State. So I believe this platform would give me the opportunity to showcase, if you like, my own agenda and to see how it would be different, how it is different from the other parties. If you look at the people, since 1999, people who have governed this state, we've had 4 governors. Out of the 4, 1 is late, and 3 of them are seeking to come back. And I'm saying that I, Teslim Folarin, I see myself as a link between the young and the old. I, Teslim Folarin, believe is the answer to that change that people of Oyo State are clamoring for. How do I mean? People will not be complaining if things are done rightly. Hence the need for change every 4 years. And I believe the old, with all due respect, the old regimes have not left any lasting legacies for any enduring legacies, if you like, for anyone to follow. So I believe I represent that change that the people of Oyo State are clamoring for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's follow the ground rules. Thank you, Senator Teslim Folarin of the People's Democratic Party, for keeping to time. We now have to move over the candidate of the Labour Party, who is not here at the moment. So we move on now to Senator Abiola Ajimobi of the All Progressive Congress.
Thank you. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me take this opportunity to commend the one and only radio station that has deemed it fit to support the democratic process. I also commend all my brothers that are here. As a matter of introduction, I am Seyi Abiola Ajimobi, born in Ibadan, schooled in Ibadan, partly, and completed my education in the United States of America. I went to State University of New York, Buffalo. It was the first, or let me say, the largest state university system in the United States. I studied as a first degree business management with concentration in finance, and did my master's degree in science in management with concentration in marketing and operations research. Left and worked briefly with the Equitable Life Assurance, the second largest life assurance company in the United States. Similarly, I came back to Nigeria, worked with a consulting firm, later worked with an architectural firm, later worked with Nestle Foods, became the operations controller. Later, when I left, joined Nestle, then later on joined National Oil, which was at that time the marketing arm of Shell Petroleum. I rose through the rank, and I became the Chief Executive Managing Director before I left to join politics. I came into politics in 2002, ran for the Senate, became a senator, was a principal officer. My party was a minority party, and I was the deputy minority leader. Thereafter, I ran for governorship, lost the first one, won the second one. Today, I'm the executive governor of Oyo State, and I'm running to continue as the executive governor. Having said this, I believe that like all societies, there are always challenges, whether in America, whether in Britain, whether in Germany, in Russia, Africa, there are challenges, socio-economic, political challenges. And Nigeria has not been left out of these challenges. Now coming to Oyo State, in 2011, May, and on ground, I found out that there was a lot of degradation in all spheres of socio-economic activities of the state, starting mainly with peace, security, safety of lives and property, being the foundation of any economic development. Is that first warning or final warning? Because I'm supposed to have a first warning, then a final warning. So if you continue ringing, that means it's final. So you need to balance it.
It's final. Just make your last sentence. It's final, but you can make your last sentence.
Excuse me, I like us to be fair in whatever we do here. I want you to apply the same rules.
It's the same rule. We stopped the time when we had a technical hitch.
When
there was a technical hitch,
yes,
we stopped the time. And so you have all your 4 minutes.
Okay, so do you give us warning, then final, or no warning? Just final?
This is the final warning, sir.
Okay, if it is the final,
just make a last sentence and then we'll be over.
The last sentence is simple. I am running to consolidate on the process of peace that we have established, to consolidate on the socio-economic developments that we've recorded so far, which is unparalleled in the last 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Abiola Ajimobi of the All Progressive Congress. We're sorry that there was that technical hitch when you were making your presentation. And now what we'll do at this point is that we will also announce once we stop to let you know that we have stopped the timer if there is any such technical hitch anymore. And then, of course, at 3 minutes henceforth, we will ring the bell, and then that means you have 1 more minute. We didn't want to interrupt you in the process of making your presentation. Thank you very much, sir. We now come up to Senator Rasheed Ladoja of the Accord Party.
My name's Rasheed Ladoja. I am from Oyo State. My parents are from Ibadan, but I was born in Engr. I had my education in Nigeria and in Belgium. I worked briefly for 13 years with Total Nigeria Limited before I decided to go on my own. Since I've gone on my own, I've made contributions in various fields: finance, agriculture, mining, and industries. I decided to join politics because I found that most of my peers were happy sitting down and complaining. What Nigeria lacks is leadership. What Nigeria lacks is leadership. So I don't want to continue as an armchair critic. That is why I decided to come into politics. I came into politics in 1992, contesting for Senate. In the Senate, I was the chairman of the Mines and Power Committee before Abacha booted us out. I joined the others in fighting for Nigeria's democracy. I was a prominent member of NADECO. I left Nigeria when the heat was on, and I came back when politics started again. I contested in 2003. I joined politics again in 1999. I became the National Financial Manager, or whatever you call it, of People's Democratic Party, National Financial Secretary. And I contested on the platform of the PDP in 2003, and I won. I won, and I had a very interesting time. What I meant on the ground then was not something we could talk about, because my predecessor's slogan was, "Awo Kajulu." That is, the finances were not enough to meet the requirements of the state. We put in those things that we felt were good. I promised the people of Oyo State when I was campaigning in 2003 that I was going to reform education. I was going to eradicate Guinea worm. I was going to, thank you very much. I believe that's the final. That's the final. I still have a minute. Thank you. So we put in measures to realize these dreams, because a leader must be able to dream. If you don't dream, you cannot perform. So we eradicated this. Our education system became better. We were scored second for 2004-2005 by Subeb. Our University of Lautech was rated as the best state university in Nigeria. Jimmy Carter's Guber 2000 confirmed that we succeeded in eradicating Guinea worm. We mended all the roads because we created measures to reduce costs by putting up a road maintenance agency and the bitumen plant.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is the second Splash FM Oyo State Gubernatorial Debate taking place at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan. I think the candidates all deserve a rousing round of applause. Let's return back to the candidate of the Social Democratic Party. And Professor Bayo Okunade is going to start us off in this session. Professor Okunade.
Yeah, thank you very much. Respected audience, implicit in the introductory remarks by the contestants are their credentials for the office. But to ask a very specific question. Given your understanding of the powers and functions of a governor as enunciated in our constitution and the avowed complexity of Oyo State, can you advertise your credentials of the governor of Oyo State at this time?
Thank you. Engineer Seyi Makinde, your turn.
If I understand the question very well, you said, what do I understand the function of the position of governor of Oyo State? Because the loudspeaker really is.
Let me
is
put the
poor.
question differently. What makes you think you are the fittest candidate for the office of governor of Oyo State at this time?
Okay. The greatest challenge that we're faced with in Oyo State today is the issue of poverty and corruption. Poverty, I have dealt with in my personal capacity. I wasn't born rich. I came from a home of a primary school teacher, later turned accountant. That's my dad. And my mom was a civil servant, telephone operator. So I wasn't born rich. I was actually faced with poverty growing up. But Oyo State did so much for me by providing me with education, free education. I went to Bishop Phillips Academy in 1980 to 1985. And I was given textbooks, notebooks, and all the things that are necessary for me to excel in a public school. When I went to Bishop Phillips Academy, the school had been in existence for about 21 years. On my graduation, I made the best result in the history of that school. People said then that because we're Omo Bolaige and we didn't take common entrance to go into secondary school, education standard was going to fall, but it did not. So I understand the issue of poverty and how to create wealth. I've done it in my private capacity, and we're ready to do it in Oyo State. We're ready to create jobs that will add to our gross domestic product rather than take away from it. That will be the central focus of our administration. And in terms of corruption, I know we have routine corruption and also systemic corruption. If we lose 6-point-something billion naira in pension funds, it must have been because we have serious systemic challenge. We will focus our efforts at plugging all of those loopholes so that even the little that we have, because at this stage, it's the money from the federation account majorly that is being used to run the state. So the little that we...
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Engineer Seyi Makinde. We now move on to Senator Teslim Folarin of the People's Democratic Party.
Thank you. So could I have the question again, please?
The first or second version? There are two versions.
Two questions, both, sir.
Okay, let me ask in the original sense. The original version, that given your understanding of the role and powers of the office of governor as enunciated in the Nigerian Constitution and the avowed complexity of Oyo State, can you advertise to the people of Oyo State your credentials for the office of the governor at this time?
Thank you, sir. I made some remarks in my opening speech when I said that of the candidates, there are 3 candidates wanting to come back as governor. And I also said there wouldn't be any clamor for change if things are working. In my own opinion, the past governments have failed this state and the unborn generation. And there has to be a new way of doing things, which I represent. We need to begin to think outside the box. There are challenges everywhere. But you ask people, the average people, what are the answers to these challenges? And everyone is thinking inside the box. We'll employ these teachers, we'll employ this we'll employ that. that isn't the answer. That isn't the answer. One critical area, one major challenge that we have facing us, like I said, is the issue of youth unemployment. And I believe that being the link between the young and old, is in the best position to tackle this issue. And again, you look at the past administrations, with all due respect, it's like asking a typewriter engineer to fix an iPad problem. It ain't gonna work. It won't work. The issue of youth unemployment, for instance, they don't understand. People don't understand how serious this is. There's a lack of appreciation. And I think it's time we begin to educate these kids that the jobs are not there. The oil companies, the banks, the big companies that used to provide these jobs in the past are no longer there. We must put in place a system where we would be, the kids of these days are very smart because they're born into the internet world. And so we must be able to exploit that. We must be able to provide as a government services that would help them unlock those potential within them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Candidate of the Accord Party, Senator Rasheed Ladoja.
Well, if you asked the question in 2003, my answer would have been different. But since the question is being asked today, I want to tell you that I think that I'm still the best candidate to win. Because I found in those years that Oyo State people are the best to rule because of the fact that they always cooperate with a leader they trust. During that period, when we came in, I told you that the reason why I came in was because I don't want to be an armchair critic. So that's why I threw in the hat. So we put in place measures that gave us results. And I expected my successors to have been building on those results. I told you when we came in, we said our focus was going to be education, health, roads, and we put those things there because the major thing is the resources have to be managed correctly. We put in an asphalt plant, which has been discarded. We brought in a tractor plant, which has been discarded. We brought in 30 pupils per class, which has been discarded. Teachers were getting their salaries and workers were getting their salaries on time, which have been discarded. So we ask ourselves, what is happening? What is happening? So where we are going to start again is where we started in 2003, which means that all the gains we made are lost. And the reason is because subsequent governments have not made people their objective. The well-being of the people of Oyo State is my primary responsibility, and that is what the constitution says. My responsibility is the people, the welfare of the people of Oyo State, and I'm going to give them that welfare. I've started before, and I succeeded. I will continue on that platform. So I can assure you that today, based on the record I laid, with linear resources, this time will be better than before.
Thank you very much. And then we'll go over now to the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Senator Abiola Ajimobi. And please, we want to really caution the audience to follow the ground rules. We don't want any applause. When we get there, we will let you know when you should applaud. Please, let's follow the ground rules. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think the question had to do with the credentials that we have to qualify us as the governor of Oyo State. I think for me, governance is simply about service delivery. People, social, economic, and physical. I believe that when you have a government, the government is to provide the needed services to the people. In doing so, what qualifies me to get there or to be there? I've said before, I was chief executive of a multinational, not only in Nigeria, but outside Nigeria. My corporate experience spanned 30 years, and I reached the top, managing people, managing equipment resources. 2, I have a cognate experience to be the governor of Oyo State. I haven't been a senator, I haven't been a governor that is currently serving. And I've seen the problems, and I've been able to compare myself with others before me. And I know leadership, a good leader will take his people to where they want to go. A great leader will take his people to where they ought to be. That we've been able to do through the repositioning of Oyo State, through transformation, and through restoration. And we base this on the simple system of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is applicable to states, where we felt peace must be number one. Before we came in, Oyo State was seen as a place of brigands, known for violence. We have restored peace. That is restoration. 2, so many of the projects that were done before we came in, they've gone moribund. Be it investment projects, moribund. Now we have brought in employment. What is employment to us? It's about education. It's about skill. Skill is about knowledge. Knowledge is ability. Ability is capability. In order, what we are saying, I think you should remove that clapping from my time. I think you can remove clapping from my time. Yes. So what I'm saying is, basically speaking.
Hello, please. I'm going to have to give him 1 more minute because of the clapping. Please, you cannot interrupt any candidate. Please, we must follow the ground rules. Please. Thank you. Please go on. You have 1 more minute.
So, in terms of not only cognate experience, but cognate performance, comparatively speaking, be it in the area of health, we've done better than what we met on ground, be it in education, be it in agriculture, be it in human resources development, be it in infrastructure, we have done better. Our performance is speaking for us. Hence, we must continue to handle the job. I thank you.
Thank you very much. We have to, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, it's still, we are going to start in the reverse order this time. You are going to take the next question. And so I call on Mr. Ojeh to throw in the next question.
It is believed that Oyo State has around 70% farming population of some sort. So the question, and we also know that around the state we have around 7 locations of farm settlements, whether cattle or plants. So the question here is, how do you intend to turn these farm settlements to employment generating source for the state? That's the question.
Thank you very much. I think what the largest employer of labor in the world is agriculture. And when we came in, we started with the concept of the 3 legs of agriculture: the inputs, the infrastructure, and the human capital. And when we started, we looked at our inputs. How do we help the farmers? We ensured that we gave them seedlings. For instance, before we came in, seedling was at about 3.5 million. When we came in, we looked for hybrid seedlings, and we got 1.5 million, and our output increased by over 60%. That is on cocoa. Fisheries, what we did was to also train people and improve on what they have. And today, we have increased by over 50%. So the point we are making is, for inputs, we've also added money to assist farmers. For inputs, we've also cultivated lands for them. So input, we have done well. 2, we want to continue. Second aspect of agriculture is what we call infrastructure. This government, more than any other government, has brought in tractors, 480 tractors, compared to less than 100 that we had before we came in. And we have distributed them to all the farming population. Not only this, 70% of our farm produce do not get to the marketplace. What have we done? We've added storage facilities. For the first time, storage facilities, mega storage facilities of 10,000 metric tons. We've also brought in bulldozers and graders to rig the farmland, to make them motorable. Finally, we have engaged more than 7,000 youths and 20,000 youths serving for agriculture. We are interacting with IITA, and they are training them for us in order to go into agri. We've also introduced Catch Them Young agricultural program, where in schools now, they are planting and they are growing fruits and vegetables. So in agriculture, what we must do with the 7, in fact, we have 9 farmlands, farm settlements. And what we are now doing, we had an international partner who is already discussing with us, and we want to use them in this area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Engineer Seyi Makinde.
Thank you. One of the first steps that we are going to take for Oyo State farmers will be to set up an economic advisory committee at the state level. Never again are we going to have a government in Oyo State that will be myself and few cliques, maybe close family members and all. I'm not going to do that. I will ensure that critical stakeholders, including farmers, artisans, they will be represented in the Economic Advisory Committee. So they have critical input onto how we're going to apply the resources available to us in Oyo State. Again, our developmental process will henceforth be measured in terms of improvement in social indicators. For instance, again, if I have to deal with the issue of, helping the farmers, I will not give money directly to the farmers. I will rather ensure that whatever assistance we're going to render is going to go to the people or the companies that are going to be responsible for providing those inputs to them. Again, it's something that we've done. We did a pilot project in my village, Ajia. They're also predominantly farmers. We put in certain facilities, majorly electricity and also water. And we found out that people, they actually stay in the village. They don't leave. We put in DSTV in a viewing center, and we found out that the folks don't come to town, to watch TV. They come back from their farm. They have all the things they are that can keep them occupied in those villages. So for the farm settlement to stem rural-urban migration, we will provide those facilities which will ensure that the farmers, they become productive. And we will also fund adequately by bringing in investors through public-private partnership. For instance, Brazil, the GDP of Brazil, agriculture contributes 24%, but agriculture accounts for 30% of Brazil's annual export. So we're not going to look at agriculture just for Nigeria. I was talking to people in Shaki. They said they want to be the food basket of Oyo State, and I said they can be the food basket of West Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we go over now to Senator Teslim Folarin of the People's Democratic Party.
Thank you, sir. Can I ask the question again, please?
The question is how you intend to use the farm settlements in Oyo State to create jobs for the citizens.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, can we have some quiet, please? Please, you can go on.
I think you can start my 3 minutes now. I mean, for me, this is one of the tragedies of this administration and indeed the past ones, given the huge potential that Agric offers us in terms of job creation and expanding our IGR base. The present governor went on a familiarization visit to Fashola Farm Settlement some time ago. And when he was there, he said Fashola Farm Settlement was being utilized at a capacity of 20%. I want to make bold that since his last visit, that has dropped to about 12%. And the reason is very simple. The reason is very simple. It's either there is bad management or the equipment they claim to have bought is not there. Having said that, what my administration would do, sir, is to build a synergy between these farm settlements and the research institutes that abound in Oyo State. It's a tragedy because you have all this IITA there and there is no synergy. And if there is no strong one between our farm settlements and the international institutes. So we would do that. And now, 80% in our own calculation is involved in agric. If you take the civil servants, about 5% civil servants who are also involved in agriculture, and 80% of the farmers cannot use the farm settlements. So what we need to do is to create an enabling environment for people, other people who cannot use the farm settlements to practice their agric. We need to build feeder roads, irrigation where necessary. And if you look at the issue, of things you can do on the farm settlement, I was talking about expanding your revenue base. This is a state that cannot pay salaries as in when due. They can't pay. And given the huge potential that we have from agric, it really is a tragedy that we cannot manage our farm settlements and agric as a whole to make sure that we pay our salaries. Thank you.